Hi guys, how are you? This is going to be my last video about the poet T.S. Eliot, and today I'm going to analyze section 5, the last section, which is entitled What the Thunder Said. The main theme of this section is the metaphor of water as a source of spiritual salvation. In a dry, sterile land, water is the only possible hope. You remember that Eliot believed in myths and legends and in their connection to literature. And he was fascinated by the myth of the legend of the Holy Grail. So the question that the Wasteland is asking us is, are we all looking for the Holy Grail? Will we find it? And maybe this section provides a possible answer, which is water and rain as a symbol of hope. So let's start reading it. This passage is also famous because it contains onomatopoeic sounds. For example, the sound of water. Some critics call this passage the ballad of dropping water because you can actually hear the sound of water falling. Here's no water, but only rock and no water, and the sandy road. The road winding above the mountains, which are mountains of rock without water. If there were water, we should stop and drink. Amongst the rock, one cannot stop or think. Sweat is dry, and feet are in the sand. If there were only water amongst the rock, dead mountain mouth of curious teeth that cannot speak. Here one can neither stand nor lie nor sit. There is not even silence in the mountains, but dry, sterile thunder without rain. There is not even solitude in the mountains, but red, sullen faces sneer and snarl from doors of mud-cracked houses. I will stop here and try to analyze these few lines. Well, first of all, you can feel that there's a sound which is quite harsh, the repetition of rock, road, so consonant, harsh, hard consonant like R. And there's no water. So this is also related to the fact that this rock is dry. When the poet says, dead mountain mouth of curious teeth that cannot speak, the image is quite disgusting. La bocca della montagna ha denti cariati che non possono sputare. The idea that there is, as Shakespeare would say, that there is something rotten, c'è qualcosa di marcio, c'è qualcosa di cariato in questa montagna. So in these mountains, you cannot even appreciate the sound of silence because there's a sound in the background. C'è un suono, dry, sterile thunder without rain. C'è il suono di un tuono che però non porta pioggia. The thunder is far away. You can hear it. So you can understand that it's approaching, a storm is approaching, but it's not raining yet. Eliot was also fascinated by myths and legends from Hinduism. And according to this religion and philosophy, the thunder was, again, a personification of a spirit. And as a personification, the thunder speaks, which explains the title of the passage, What the Thunder Said. Il tuono parla. E cosa dice il tuono? This is the main meaning of the passage. But let's go on. When he says, red sullen faces sneer and snarl from doors of mud-cracked houses. Queste facce arrossate e adirate, sullen, sneer che ghignano, and snarl e ringhiano da porte di case fatte di fango. quindi degli spiriti malvagi, delle presenze inquietanti che fanno capolino da queste case ancora secche, fatte di marmo di fango essiccato. If there were water and no rock, if there were rock and also water, and water, a spring, una sorgente, a pool among the rock, una pozza d'acqua tra la roccia, if there were the sound of water only, not the cicada and dry grass singing, but the sound of water over a rock, where the hermit thrush sings in the pine trees, drip, drop, 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 but there's no water. Again, this onomatopoeic sound, drip, drop. The poet is imagining some rain coming over this dry, sterile mountain, and is imagining even the sound of water falling. When the poet says, on this rock, in these mountains, there's the hermit thrush that sings in the pine trees. The hermit thrush is a very rare bird. It's really difficult to meet and see and observe this bird. So what's the metaphor of this bird that sings in the pine trees? Again, it's a symbol. The bird is a symbol of something. It's quite impossible to find, but I can hear the sound. I know that in the pine trees there's this rare bird, there's this hermit thrush. So if, the passage I've just read begins with if there were water, se solo ci fosse l'acqua. Again, this is a sort of desire, but at the same time it sounds like a regret, l'acqua non c'è. And then the poet go on with saying, in this decayed hole among the mountains, in the faint moonlight, the grass is singing over the tumbled graves. About the chapel, there's the empty chapel, only the wind's home. Quindi in questo buco, decayed, putrefatto, decrepito, tra le montagne, in the faint moonlight, alla luce della luna che è debole, the grass is singing, l'erba sta cantando, over the tumbled graves, sulle tombe che sono cadute. About the chapel, there is the empty chapel, c'è questa cappella vuota, only the wind's home, che è casa solo del vento. It has no windows and the door swings, senza finestre e la porta sbatte. Remember that Eliot was American. He became British, a British citizen, but he has always been fascinating with American nature, and especially he loved the American desert. This image recalls the American desert. There's an abandoned building, in this case a chapel, and it's not a coincidence, it's a chapel. So there are graves, fallen graves all around, the door swings. This looks like an image taken from Western movies, you know, the desert, an abandoned town, the wind that swipes everything. Dry bones can harm no one. Le ossa secche non possono far male a nessuno. Only a cock stood on the roof tree, cuckoo, in a flash of lightning. Then a damp gust bringing rain. So what is the only presence in this dry, sterile image? That of a cockerel. I won't say cock, because you know that in present English that's quite vulgar, but at the time of the wasteland, cock was a cockerel, a rooster, un gallo. So it was used just to indicate the animal. It was not vulgar a century ago. Quindi c'è un gallo. Stood on the roof tree, and then you can hear the sound that the animal is producing in a flash of lightning. So there's one only hope in this dry, sterile land. Remember that cockerels, roosters are symbols of a new day. The cockerel sings when the day begins. And so the image of the cockerel, which is there, where there's absolutely nothing, is probably a metaphor of life that begins again and again, day after day. And this image of the cockerel is combined with the damp gust. Arriva una vampata umida, which brings rain. This is a feeling you may have. I usually have it, for example, in summer. When you know that a storm is approaching, you feel this damp gust. Quando il temporale estivo sta per arrivare, pochi minuti prima, si sente questa vampata di umidità. So that's the same thing. The poet is now focusing on the senses. There's this damp gust, which is bringing rain. Rain is approaching. Ganga was sunken, and the limp leaves waited for rain, while the black clouds gathered far distant over Imavant. The jungle crouched, hummed in silence, and then spoke the thunder. Ganga was a goddess taken from, again, Hinduism. Era una divinità induista che si riferiva al fiume Gange. So Ganga is the symbol of the river. And Ganga was sunken. Sunken, it means that the level of the water is really low. Quindi il fiume è prosciugato. And the limp leaves waited for rains. E le foglie afflosciate attendevano l'acqua. And the black clouds gather far distant. Questi nuvoloni neri si stanno raccogliendo nella distanza, over Imavant, su una montagna. That's the name of a mountain. The jungle crouched, hummed in silence, and then spoke the thunder. La giungla si rannicchiava, si accoccolava in silenzio, e poi finalmente parlò il tuono. Again, in this passage, we have some of the most favored locations for Eliot. Eliot was also fascinated by India. Imavant, for example, is an image of India. That's a mountain in India. So in this passage, we have a mix of different sensations taken from different philosophies, locations, but they all have one same meaning, that is to speak about the metaphor of the thunder. What does the thunder say? In the final lines of this passage, I'm skipping some lines. One of the parts, which is most important for me, is when the poet says, I have heard the key turn in the door once, and turn once only. We think of the key, each in his prison, and thinking of the key, each confirms a prison. So, what's the meaning of these lines? Ho sentito la chiave girare nella toppa, nella porta, solo una volta. Noi pensiamo alla chiave, ognuno di noi nella propria prigione. E pensando alla chiave, confermiamo la prigione. What is the meaning of this? If we think we are imprisoned, that's only because our mind makes us think of that. If we think that we need a key to be released from this prison, we actually confirm the existence of a prison. I don't know if I was able to explain that to you, ma se noi pensiamo che abbiamo bisogno di una chiave per scappare da qualcosa, il solo fatto che pensiamo alla chiave conferma che siamo in una prigione. Quindi questa prigione dipende dalla nostra mente, dipende da quello che noi concepiamo. So, the thunder speaks. Finalmente la pioggia arriva. Il tuono parla, il tuono ci dice questo. La prigione è nella nostra mente. Thank you for watching.